Do you know I found out I have PTSD? Before they even go to the page, like when you get the checklist, like when they give you a checklist and go to the hospital, fill out your pain level. When I fill that form for the PTSD thing, I was in the red. And that's what kind of led into this therapy thing, because I was like, why am I drinking so much, man? That's unhealthy. That's how I feel after therapy, man. I feel like I see things better. And the only thing is, it's made me softer. Softer, not like in the sense that you can get over me, but it's just like sometimes I'll be watching a commercial and be like, oh man, look what's happening to this fucker. As a matter of fact, I used to go out and be like, that was boring because I didn't punch somebody in the face. But you see, I needed therapy. Nobody knows what's happening. Now you're being told your mom was on the side of the road. You show up, she's not there. There's no communication. It's all word of mouth. Then you start guessing, and then they will go to the hospital. They find the Kieni Hospital, cardiac arrest. First of all, I'm going to drink that one. Bonsens is the therapy you need in your life, but it's true in a sense. But therapy, I'm only in therapy, ironically, for the military, and then the military kind of like made me go to therapy because I was refusing to accept I need anybody to tell me how I feel, because that's a tradition. A man, Dhaka, you need to be tough. Don't cry, all right? Don't complain. Make things happen. And I told you I had that emotional situation with my mom passing at the time, which I believe it was the worst time for me, because that's the time I felt, oh, now I can go to her. It's almost like you think you're about to get up and you get hit and you fall again. And then the experience that I had in that boarding school, bro, those kids were savage. It's like a kitten, right? A kitten being thrown into a dog pen or in a dog park. You can imagine what will happen. And that's literally the case. You get over there, your shit gets stolen. The teacher doesn't care if it got stolen. You're getting beaten. You're over here, you're wondering why you're in this freaking prison. Because I came from Anglican, and then it's a Catholic school, and everybody's marching. It's basically like being put in the military. You didn't sign up for it. You're not ready for it. I was so hungry, bro. If I didn't die of starvation, maybe I can go through the Kalahari Desert without being, not now, maybe back in the day. But because they steal your food, and that's the only shot you got. My life revolved around, I used to think, okay, Saturday, how many breakfasts are those? Because that was the most important thing. Because remember, I had said, fuck studying. Because my mom brought me here to study, I'm not going to do it. So she can learn. She shouldn't have brought me here. Take me back in the village, in the local school, day school. I will do better over there. I can read. I know how to read, So some sort of argument. But anyway, so I held on to that. If I started talking about it until this point, recently, just like a few years ago, 2017, that's when I went for therapy. No, everyone was like, shut up. What are you whining about? It was good for you. You are lucky. People say, you are lucky you can go to boarding school. Do you know how many parents wish they can take their kids to boarding school? And I'm like, why couldn't you switch places, bro? When I was going to boarding school, I used to, when they slaughter the chicken so you can they make a meal for you, because the chicken is, a special occasion. You don't have chicken every day. I used to be like, I wish I was that chicken so I could die and, be eaten or something. That's how bad it was. So I held on to that. Even when I became a man, even when I came to the US, that was still inside, It's almost like swallowing something that is poisonous. It doesn't matter if they take it out of you, it's still in there. So anyway, I went in the military, and I've told you, and it's not an exaggeration, I have no trauma from the Marine Corps. But then boarding school, NYS, and there's no provision for somebody to have that decompress, all right? It's very unfortunate, because that's where we are in the third world country or developing country. Now you come here, you're holding on to it, and you're going through all these things. And then I went through a horrendous marriage, or was supposed to be a marriage. It only lasted for like 30 seconds, but it was enough. It's almost like now I was being punched. It's almost like I said, I'm down and somebody's stepping on me. Eventually, when I got out and things just collided, and again, the way I say they take care of veterans, somebody said, we are going to take you to therapy. I'm like, fine. Then let me sit down and listen to somebody, right? Do you know I found out I have PTSD? Before they even go to the page, like when you get a checklist, like when they give you a checklist and go to the hospital, fill out your pain level. When I fill that form for the PTSD thing, I was in the red, 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 red. I was like, okay, let's not talk about it because I still have that pride thing or whatever you want to call it. I'm like, let's do it tomorrow. I don't want to do it. They called me again. We did, and I sat down through the whole thing so we can get the checklist. I have PTSD from that boarding school experience. So we never even, my PTSD on record is not from being in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Kuwait, all those things, being in boot camp, none. It's boarding school as that baby, right? That's what I was drinking because I was thinking when I drink, I'm happy for that time, I forget about it. But then when you wake up, the thing is still there with a hangover. So and that's what kind of led into this therapy thing because I was like, why am I drinking so much, man? That's unhealthy, you know. So that's how I ended up in therapy, and I can say my life has changed drastically since going through that process. And then when I realized is that I told them, okay, you're telling me this is me. I said, let's go full. So I literally went inpatient. I checked myself in. When I checked myself in, they were like, what are you here for? I'm like, don't worry about it. Because people would come over there twitching, they're having withdrawals. I don't have that stuff. But me, I was like, since you told me I have it, I'm going to go through this crap. So took my phone, took everything, locked in. It was supposed to be 21 days. They were like, man, your shit is so far. You're going to stay another, I don't know, 10 days. So I stayed there for 31 days. There we talked through everything. I talked to a psychiatrist, through whatever people, psychiatrists, psychologists, whatever class of people, mental health. They talked to me about that stuff. And that's how I found out, man, I had a lot of things that were deep inside. Someone needed to go look for it and kind of like take it out, you know? It's almost like when you fall down a cactus and somebody has to take out little pins or something. That's what had to happen. So that was in 2019, 2020, yeah, during the lockdown. So that's my therapy experience. I feel like, there's that song, I can see clearly now that the rain is gone. That's the one I think about. I know it sounds corny. That's how I feel after therapy, man. I feel like I see things better. And the only thing is, it's made me softer. Softer, not like in the sense that you can get over me, but it's just like sometimes I'll be watching a commercial, be like, oh man, look what's happening to this puppy. I feel like such a wuss. I'm like, I'm glad it happened after I left the military. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, such a wuss. But that's the only thing. But now I understand people better. I thought I was empathetic. I think now I'm more empathetic. And then also, it just happened at the time when I was still going through school and doing stuff like that and learning about personalities and people's behavior, understanding this, that there's a reason why somebody is bad to me. It doesn't mean now I have to fight. I was the guy, if you say something to me, we have to resolve it. But there's anybody who is mature, right? Or anybody who is level-headed is going to know road rage. I'm not saying I was a road rager, but yeah, I'm the kind of guy, I will not step away from that. I used to be in bar fights for no reason, right? As a matter of fact, I used to go out and be like, man, that was boring because I didn't punch somebody in the face. But you see, I needed therapy. So if the guy is punching people in the face, in my mind, I'm thinking, that guy needs therapy. I'm not going to tell him he needs therapy. But now I understand why there are some people who are just assholes. There's something they are suppressing. There's something they are fighting. There's a truth to that saying, people are fighting demons, man. So I don't have that. You will not find me arguing with somebody. I debate because that's my nature, but you're not going to find me trying to convince somebody anything. I thought I have to convince you. You have to accept what I'm giving you. You have to convince me otherwise. Because I will take whatever is being given to me or being, whatever I'm being exposed to, but I'm the kind of guy, sell me on it. And that will not be, you have to fight me. And that may also explain why my marriage failed anyway, because I thought, there's no way I'm failing in this thing, And now, by the way, we get along. I get along with my ex-wife. I still think I would never marry her, but I get along. And I think as a big piece is because I had that opportunity to go through therapy and realize, hey, she is herself, I'm myself. I can only be responsible for my behavior, not anybody else's. Yeah. Man, I cannot pinpoint it because again, I'm not a psychologist. I can only speak about experiences, the effect my mother had on me. But like I told you, I think it happened at the worst time possibly, right? There's never a good time for somebody to pass away. And then the last person I expected to pass away was my mother. Anybody else can, okay, we are going to pass away, but everybody needs to go before my mother gets it. But then she's the first person to go. And it's not like she had a sick, well, she was sick. She was definitely unhealthy because she was taking everybody else's stuff. She literally died because of, and to give you a backstory, you see the way she was helping people? My mother was very instrumental in helping this guy to the point where the guy went to Japan on some sort of exchange program, scholarship, something. When he went there, he finished that program, he came back, and he imported a car, right? And when the guy, I don't even know what kind of car it is. Let's assume it was a Subaru, Impreza or something, or one of those Mitsubishi Lancers, a souped up car from Japan. That's what naturally people do. That's what my older brother did when he was there. That's what my other brother did, because two of my brothers went to Japan on the same exchange program. This guy went there, right? And as a matter of fact, this guy, I believe, was called Ben too. So this guy went to Japan, brought the car, then the car came to the port. So the guy went to pick it up. When he picked it up, crashed. Him and his buddy died instantly. So that happened that week that we were doing closing. So my mom was devastated, right? She felt like she lost a child. No relation is just a child she had helped or very instrumental in his upbringing. Instrumental in, when he came from Japan, my mom was, if not the first stop, one of the first stop. Hey, I'm here. Look, brought her gifts. Because that's my mom. That's what she did. So she was devastated. And then she is here preparing for us, the children who are coming from boarding school with all this bullshit. We come here, thank you. Literally closing day, we came there. She had cooked something for us. Typical was Friday. Then Saturday is the burial. My mother now told us, hey guys, I wanted to make sure you're here. You have got here because we get picked up. We got dropped home. You're here. Eat, rest. Tomorrow, we have a funeral. Then she was walking over there and she just stopped somewhere on the road and she just like, my chest hurts. And she sat down. And then obviously it's a village. She's sitting on the side of the road in the evening. She's walking towards the guys so they can do the thing, prepare to go and pick his body, bring it in the morning the following day, right? And then us, we're expecting we're going to join her in the morning. So she just didn't come home. There was no cell phones back then. There's no cell phones, no. And then she's sitting over there. Nobody has a car. Nobody knows what's happening. She's saying she's feeling cold or something or hot, whatever the hell she was feeling. People are doing the opposite of what they're supposed to be doing according to the doctors. Putting water on her, making her lay down. And then by the time somebody thought, let's go get the husband. First of all, they're thinking, if they go get the husband, my dad, they're going to traumatize. They don't want to make a big deal out of nothing. And then my mom is like, no. Can you just give me a second? Just pour water on me or something. By the time they got to my dad, somebody else had been found who had a pickup, put her on the bed of the pickup and the road is rough, took her to the hospital. By the time my dad was getting the news, he came to where she was already taken. So we are trying to find where she could have been taken. Can you imagine that? Nobody knows what's happening. Now you're being told your mom was on the side of the road. You show up, she's not there. There's no communication. It's all word of mouth. Then you start guessing, and then they will go to the hospital. They find a Kieni hospital, cardiac arrest. So the way it happened in itself was not a good thing for any child. And remember, this is the time I had come with a plan to sit my mom down. Of course, that day was no good because if there was nothing like that happening, I would have told my mom, guess what? Because I used to come back with a report card that was bad all the time because I was just being a bad kid. Like I told you, I was being rebellious. Now this time I told her, look, see how my report card is good? She was like, I'm so proud of you. I'm like, yeah. Now I'm a man. I'm done with primary school, man. I've survived it. Mom, don't feel so bad because, I know it wasn't your fault. So I never got a chance to tell her that. So I just put it inside. And that led into other things, led into where I'm punching people in the face in Australia. You know what I'm saying? Like 2000, how many years is that? Like 10, 15 years later, I'm punching people. I think Australia is a place where I remember, and Australia is all about, life is like that. It takes no effort for you to find a fight. People just want to freaking punch each other, and it doesn't go anywhere. Punch each other, you go on the road, nobody gets locked up. It's not like in America where like, I'm going to hold back. Over there, psh. Sometimes I'll be sitting over there, somebody will just punch me or slap me because I'm a Marine. Black dude, racism, whatever. So I'm over there doing all those things without realizing it's because my mom died when I was a child. Therapy helps if not somebody has not been to therapy, try it. As long as you're a human being who has walked out of a building and interacted with anything, just go for therapy. Go for therapy. If you are active, if you're in the military, okay, that's the one I can really talk about because that's my experience. If you're in the military, just go for therapy. Just be like, hey, man, I want to make an appointment to go for therapy, and you're allowed to anyway, and see what happens. So, to answer that question, how has it helped me be able to deal with that? I didn't know I was dealing with that. My mom has passed. Whatever the circumstances, people are supposed to pass, you know. And if I can tie that story to another one, the reason why I don't go to church. I'm not saying if you take me to church, I'm gonna start fighting. But it's just like I don't say on Sunday I'm going to this church. I don't go looking for churches. My mom was the church. And when she died, guys were refusing to bury her because they said she had a portion of her thing, of a tithe or something left. And my mom used to pay people's debts, or whatever you want to call it. Because the Church of England had big debt, they spread it until it gets to the village. In the village, I would see people who do not even have money to buy clothes. Their clothes have patches, and they are being told, you need to come up with 5,000 shillings. My mom would pay that. Obviously, I've told you my mom wasn't planning to die. Not anybody plans to die. There was nothing indicating she's going to go, and she went. So just because she had that thing and somebody, I don't know what, there was a disagreement, people are kind of like causing drama about it. I was like, what? And then in my head, I'm thinking, how come lightning is not striking those men? You know? So I saw that. And obviously, when I was in Kenya, I couldn't dare voice how I feel. I just took that. And then my dad died almost the same thing, to the point when my dad died later in 2000. Literally, the week it almost looks like everything happens. When I graduated boot camp and I was ready to, because obviously there's no cell phones like WhatsApp, I was waiting to call my dad. So I'd graduated, and then I went to Pennsylvania where my sister used to live at the time. And we were going to have a group call my dad. We got a call to be told my dad had passed. Same circumstances. It just passed because, again, taken in cardiac arrest, right? And of course, people have to live healthy. But when my mom passed, and then my dad passed, my dad was a chief. You asked me earlier, what did I get from my parents? I said to love people. I didn't realize in the village, these people have this thing about, they have some sort of, I don't know, jealousy. Remember the story I was telling you about land? They said my dad's land was part of, a portion of it was community land. As a matter of fact, there's a road that goes through there. Those people were there when we were digging the grave, and they said the road goes on top of the grave. I was like, what the hell? You know? I couldn't believe it. The same people who my dad has educated, has helped, has given his life, he dies, they come, they help dig the grave. The next thing we know, tractors are there digging through his land. It's like, imagine where your home is, and somebody says there's a road. This is reserved land where the road is supposed to go through. So your land, your home has been split in half by a road, which is still there. But so people in the village just be like, listen, let's stop being assholes. Let's move the road just a little bit. So instead of going on top of the grave, so it just goes here, literally on the headstone is where the road is, of my mom and my dad. So it's just a combination of things like that, you know. When people hear like that and they wonder why people are over there with my pangas, cutting each other up. Because there's people who bring up some nonsense. And just because the fact that you're breathing and the other person is not there to speak for themselves, you feel now your time for you to revenge is to have a road go. Why didn't you say that when he was alive? And if you say that when he was alive, what did you guys discuss? Now we are the children. We are sitting over here wondering, why the hell are we being told to get the hell out of the way? We have bulldozers coming through. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of shit I went through. And that's why I decided, no, church. And then obviously the experiences I've had since then, came to America, the experiences I had with church, and how I saw some of the worst people in church. I just used to be spiritual. I still believe in God. I still believe my mom and my dad are watching over me, right? But this idea of like, I'm going to go to a church and I'm going to give all my money, I'm going to give all my strength, I'll serve in my own way, you know? I work with churches, but I'm not part of that church, you know? I've given all my money through churches, I've given all my money to help my church, but yeah. Absolutely. You know, doing therapy, I would definitely encourage anybody. Anybody. Like I said earlier, even if you don't think you need therapy, just go sit down with somebody. Now, I'm not saying those people are miracle workers, and I'm not saying they're going to find a problem. But if you sit with somebody and they're really good at being therapists, you're going to find something. They're going to push a button. It's like a massage. Anybody will say, I don't need a massage. You and I, when we leave here, if you go for a massage, we'll feel better than we did before we went for that massage, right? Now, people in the village or people will be like, massage, that's for bullshit. But the truth of the matter is, if you get a massage, it doesn't matter who you are. You're gonna be like, wow, I feel better than I did. That's therapy.
What about when you look at guys and
Those are the worst. Those are the ones who need therapy. If you see a guy going to the gym until he explodes, yeah, that's the guy who needs therapy. What demons is he fighting? 100%. A guy who is so anal retentive. Oh, I have to wear the best clothes. Oh, I have to have the biggest car, the newest car. My wife has to look a certain way. If a guy says hello to my girl, I'm punching him out. That dude needs therapy more than anybody else on this planet. Even I, who didn't know I needed therapy, I've never had that. Imagine a guy, you go to the club, you say hello to a girl, before you know it, a guy is choking the hell out of you. Because you said hello to a girl who is in public, who is not his property. And you have seen people, those are the guys who go to the gym, and they go to the gym because they want to fight everybody, right? Now, if you're in the gym and you're getting fit, more power to you. So I'm not here challenging going to the gym. I need to go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, if you see a guy is overcompensating, simple, go sit down with a therapist. Instead of going and working out and having these muscles which are going to give you stretch marks, and you have to take all these protein shakes and skipping this and, sacrificing this and getting injections in your knees or whatever, breaking your back. Sit down with somebody. It doesn't matter who it is, as long as they are real therapists. I'm not talking about you go to some ayahuasca's guy telling you to smoke something or to close your eyes and whatever. I've been through a share of those. Go to somebody because they are older, like in the village they think. And by the way, I'm speaking about this like it's something so obvious, but it's almost taboo culturally. Our people, Meru people, and first of all, Meru I think are even worse, in my opinion, than Embu. Men, who the hell are you talking? Meru don't even believe a woman should say anything. So if you get a female therapist, a woman therapist, you could even come out of there more angry, needing more therapy. Just be open, man. It doesn't matter if it's a child. As long as that is they have a niche in that. You just have to get a good therapy. Like me, I'll never forget my therapist because she made me sit down. She made me listen. She made me come back. You know those therapists you start thinking, I got cry, and then she just continued to sit there. Do you remember, by any chance, do you remember that R. Kelly interview? And I'm like, these guys hate me. What was he saying? And he got up and Gayle King was just sitting down. And when he sat down, she didn't tell him to sit down. He just sat down because he got it out of the system. He sat down and she asked the same freaking questions. These guys are hating on me, man. I forget what the phrase is. Do you remember that? But anyway, so a good therapist is like, they're not going to chase you. They're not going to tell you we need this. No, they're going to sit you down. And then they're not like those TV ones or the ones people make jokes like they're looking at the clock, be like, 30 minutes up, get the hell out. Somebody who makes you feel like, listen, just like the way you're listening to me right now. Just talk. Ongea kutoke. And then after you're done, you're like, God dang. Man, I used to be over there freaking crying and shit. For anything, man. Before that time, the only time I remember crying was when my son was born, Beyond that, I wasn't crying for nothing. So I would definitely, if nothing, I would definitely tell people, if I would leave anybody with anything, learn from me. Therapy. Better sooner than later.